question this week is, will journaling every morning help me finish this outline? The hypothesis is that if I get all of the gunk out of my head in the morning, set the mindset for the day, set the intention for the day, then it will open the creative channels and only good stuff will flow out. So we shall find out. It's Monday and I have already journaled this morning. I will write a minimum of 1 page every morning. And this is not a concept that I came up with. It's the morning pages, which came from, I found it in The Artist's Way. So I'm assuming it came from that originally. I've done it before. I journal regularly, but I don't know if I've intentionally asked myself, will journaling help me write a book? I don't know if it was the journaling, but today was a really good and productive day working on my outline. I finished outlining the romance beats for Act 1, and I'm really pleased with how they've turned out. And I have started working on Act 2, and I already had the midpoint of love before, and then today I was able to get the No Way number 2 beat. So tonight is a self-care night and I am putting on a face mask and I'm going to lay on the couch and read my book. Oh my gosh, what is going on? Ooh. I'm currently reading Katie Wismer's latest book, Tell Me It's Wrong. And I actually read the first book in that, I think it's called Sweet Spire series. I read the first one over the weekend and I really liked it. And so now I'm reading the second one in the series and so far so good. It is quite spicy, I have to say, like pretty early on. So it's good so far. Okay, let's get this on. I don't think I'm supposed to put glasses on top of this, but I have to see. The challenge today was getting out of bed. I stayed up too late last night. I had a hard time sleeping. I had a hard time going to sleep. And so I slept in a little bit, which meant that I was running a little bit behind. And luckily with my day job, there's flexibility in timing. So it's not actually that I'm late, but it's later than what I normally like to do in my routine. If I weren't setting the intention to do this journaling every morning, I may have skipped it this morning, but I'm committed to the challenge, so I made the time. And that's part of what I was journaling, was expelling a lot of that rushing, anxious, I'm late energy and putting it on the page and getting it out of my body. And honestly, it helped. It helped enough that I'm sitting here filming this clip like I haven't left for work yet. So I'm hopeful that staying committed to the journaling, even when it's hard, will pay off. writing 1 page every morning of brain dump, right? What that's doing is it's getting me back into more of a regular journaling practice throughout the day as well. And I was journaling last night at 8:40 p.m. I've tried to write the same story for 6 years. Each attempt was never exactly the same, but there were reoccurring characters, tropes, settings, and concepts, and each attempt was thwarted by my own negative mindset. A voice in my head saying, this story isn't good enough, smart enough, important enough. Listening to this voice manifested into a trail of dead, unfinished books, a graveyard of stories. But stories are meant to be told and heard. They never actually die, and they will haunt you until you share them with the world. One of my fears is that I will die before I am finally able to get my shit together enough to tell my stories. These morning pages are a direct assault against the inner voice that tells me lies about myself, my writing, and the stories I am called to tell. But how do I know if I am winning the war? Is the evidence in my productivity, my mindset? Are the results immediate or cumulative? Deep down, I know the answer. It's in the connection with our creativity. Connecting with creativity is a lifelong relationship with ebbs and flows. There will be seasons of strain and seasons of ease. Sometimes the best thing to do for a while is to walk away, but we always return because creativity is always within us. It never leaves, though it can get buried beneath the lies and beliefs we carry. As I was journaling, I pulled out The Artist's Way. She says that in order to retrieve your creativity, you need to find it. And that really resonated with me. And so I continued journaling, reflecting on that. These morning pages are helping me clear a path to my creativity. A lovely, safe, and beautiful path. No longer a dark, scary, and tight one. And that brought me to my journal from last year. So I buy a moleskin journal for every year. And last year, on Sunday, March 24th, so a little over a year ago, this is how I described my writing process. This is how I described finding creativity. Writing is like caving. There is a challenging and uncomfortable journey to the dark cave through tight spaces, impossible cracks, steep declines until I've arrived there. There is dark, black dark, and uncomfortable, lacking yet full, a sense of urgency and the need to escape. I can't stay there long, too disorienting, so I climb back out. Like my mind, the Victorian mansion with so many far-off, locked doors, down cobwebbed hallways, haunted. Writing is excavating and ghost hunting. Scary, but rewarding, thrilling, fulfilling, satisfying, passing through trauma and its scar tissue in order to find beauty, meaning, and purpose. Back then, it was incredibly hard to write, but I did it because I was called to do it. I knew that I was supposed to work through the painful process. And today, that finding is less frantic. Connecting with my creativity feels different. It's not excavation anymore. Today, writing is like a game of sardines. I sneak through the still dark house in search of knowing. I can hear its breathing and the phantom creaks that lead me to where it's waiting. It whispers from afar. I can hear it calling for me through the silent house. Once I find it, we huddle together, buzzing with the anticipation of getting caught. It is late afternoon now. I've just been kind of hunkered down and working on things, brainstorming YouTube ideas, thinking about what I want this channel to be and the kind of videos that I want to make. So I've spent most of the day working on that kind of stuff, and then I started working on my outline a bit. So I'm in Act 3 now in the outline, and I have 2 out of the 4 or 5 beats that there are in Act 3. So I've done the Inkling of Doubt and then the Breakup. So now I have to fill in the gaps between the beats that are between those 2. I think that I will probably do that today. Going back to the question of the video, will journaling brain dump every morning help me write my book. It's only Wednesday, so I really don't have the answer to that question yet. So far today, I have not really wanted to work on my outline. I think part of that is my favorite part of writing a book is the prose and the layering of atmosphere and really getting into the scene. And I don't get to do that for a while. I often skip forward to those steps because I'm too eager to get there, and that's when I get stuck. So I'm trying to be proper, regimented. Those sound negative, but it's needed. I have to build the structure before I can fill in the fluff, even though the fluff is my favorite part. Today, I'm really wanting to play with the fluff, but I have to work on the structure. So girls gotta do what a girl's gotta do. I will get it done. So then I can just look forward to the fluff and I will have a sturdy base to put it on. But one thing that I do think I'm able to see that my journaling is helping with is grounding into my creative energy again. Something that I've struggled with since starting filming these videos is to live here and not there. A consequence of that has been I have had a harder time grounding in my creative zone. It's hard to get into the creative flow when I feel perceived. I'm only showing you bits and pieces throughout the day. But even so, it's hard for me to get into the creative flow when I'm thinking about filming. And I'm sure that that will just come with time, because this is only my 4th video now. So I know I'll figure it out. I think I still just need to learn how to fit making videos into my day-to-day creative life. So I'll get there. When I went through my 2024 journal last night and then again this morning, I didn't fully read through the journal entries, but I skimmed to try and find the one that I was looking for that I could share with you. It was just really interesting to read what I had written last year and to not remember it. Part of my journaling, it feels like a transcribing of, it's like a download. And I'm not always fully conscious while I'm doing it. I'm just really zoned into transcribing what it is that I'm hearing inside my head. And so typically I will write it down and then I step away, and that's where it exists now. It exists on the page. It doesn't exist in here, and I don't think about it. So to go back and read what I had written last year and to not remember it and to think like, man, who was she? Last year was a huge year in my life. Both of my grandparents died within 28 days of each other. And my grandparents were very influential and foundational in my life. And so last year, losing both of them, it felt like a complete shift for me. I'm living a different life now. It may not look very different on the outside, but it definitely is different. To read what I was writing in my journal leading up to their death and following their death and processing that grief on the page. And what's interesting is that so far in 2025, I have not been journaling in the same capacity that I did last year, and I'm not really sure why. Part of me wonders if something that has changed about me after losing my grandparents and grieving. My mind is a lot quieter. I've let go of a lot of misbeliefs and baggage that I had been carrying that filtered through my journaling. Because my mind is quieter now, I end up journaling less. But reading back through all of those things that I had written last year, I mean, some of it was really good stuff. It's like finding little gems. Maybe what it was is that I seemed to journal a lot more in the early stages of grief, and as I moved through the different stages, I didn't want to write anymore. I wanted to just move my body and be in my body and not be so much in my head. And now I'm trying to recalibrate a bit to find some more balance. So I know that my journaling, my daily writing, it will get back to a place that it was before. I mean, that's why I'm doing this video. Duh. That's why we're here. I guess I'm making this video because I needed to make it for myself. I'm in that like muddle through the middle phase where I'm doing the work, I'm putting in the practice, I'm writing every day, but I'm not yet fully feeling or seeing the results from it. It's like a few little glimpses here and there. My mindset and my energy just generally is so much more clear and quiet. There's less noise happening in my head. There's less fog, which is required for me at least to access my creativity. So I know I'm moving in a positive direction. It's just a matter of being patient with how long it takes me to get to where I want to be. Today's an interesting day. My husband Alex and I are going to a show in Bloomington. We're going to a Mamalarkey show. We are both autistic. We are very protective of our routine that we have developed in order to sustain life. And so this is outside of that routine. And I took the day off, so I'll just be preparing for this adventure that we're having. This is coincidentally a situation that my main character finds herself in as well. Very, very similar circumstances. The male love interest, his name is Henry, and he is a pianist. He has a performance that she wants to go and support him at, but it's late and it's outside of her routine, and she is also autistic, and so she is going to have to figure out how to navigate that situation. And luckily for me, here I am. I'm creating this story. I'm writing this story. So you'd think that I would have intentionally done this to myself, that I would have thought, this show that we're going to is coming up. Maybe I'll write it into the story. Like, no, none of this was consciously done. I didn't even realize that it was like a similar situation to my main character, Josephine, until yesterday. I thought, you know what a good opportunity for me to get into the headspace of Josephine. You know, this is a research trip. This is a work event. That's what I'll be doing. I'll take my journal with me and capture what the experience is like for me and think about what Josephine would be doing and thinking and feeling in her own experience. Leading up to all of that, I think I will just be relaxing and reserving my energy because I will definitely need it later. It's quite gloomy today. Look at those ominous clouds. No. I finished outlining Act 3, and I can confidently say that journaling helped me do it. I had a very slow morning and I had to ease into the day after our big adventure yesterday, which went well, by the way. We had a great time at the show. I didn't film a whole lot of the evening and the night just because I wanted to be present in the moment. And I was able to journal while in the wild. And I was able to get into the headspace of both Josephine and Henry, and I got a little bit more insight into how the emotional arc of Act 3 will be. So that was really good. And then, we didn't get home until like 1 a.m. So it was a slow morning, easing into the day, but I worked today, so I had to do some work things this morning, and I didn't actually journal until a little bit ago, around noon. So it's 12:43 now. Before I journaled, I did try to work on my outline a bit, but it was just not happening at all. Like, my brain felt fried, and I was definitely not able to tap into creativity whatsoever. But I journaled, and as I was journaling, I was thinking about Act 3 and writing my struggle with it. And through that journaling process, I had a light bulb moment, and I realized why I was struggling with Act 3 and what I need to do now to lay out the rest of the beats. And I did that. So problem was that I had a beat, the first beat in Act 3 actually needed to be toward the end of Act 3, and that fixed a lot of the pacing issues that I was having, and I was very easily then able to fill in what is now the beginning of Act 3. So, yay! Journaling helps you write books. I'll just say it. I know that this has only been a week that I've been doing this, but I've been journaling for years and I've been writing for years. So it's kind of cheating because I already knew the answer to the question before I started this vlog on Monday, but we have video proof now. So I now have the romance plot outlined for Acts 1 through 3, and I need to work on the romance beats for Act 4 now, which I really like the idea of finishing the romance outline this week. So I think I'm going to take a bit of a break for lunch and then come back and do the rest for Act 4 and finish that up. And then I still need to add in like the external plot beats for the acts, but that won't be this week. That'll be next week.